conflict, and so it is something you're seeing, and also that a parent, the way they want to care for their children, it also creates a new dynamic on the battlefield.
In the process of attempting to cut costs, the offering of veterans care did change over the years to some degree, but I think we're trying to restore a lot of that. How are they adjusting?
I'm not sure what you mean. As far as do you mean as far as who's eligible for VA care, or
who gets admitted, what condition you have to be in, how long are they allowed to stay now? Because when I was a nurse, they could stay as long as they desired, or until the end of an illness. Now they go home with sicker than before, like any other patient within a regular hospital. And many of them don't have access to interim care, community health centers and that sort of thing. So many are left without anyone to consult with during that period that they're dealing with an illness that did not conclude or go into remission while they were hospitalized. And it has created a little bit of a change for the experience of a veteran. I know that they have a great deal more planning in the care systems now, and the veterans are discharged sometimes sooner than they'd like to be. Sometimes they don't have any place to go. If they didn't have any place to go way back when I was a nurse, they could stay there longer. But now they have put in some of the hospitals an experimental setting for them to go to just before they leave, where they're living in sort of an apartment-like setting, and where they learn to deal with a missing limb, or preparing their own meals and that sort of thing, and they can practice that before they leave. That was not available back when I was a nurse, but they could stay longer in the hospital until they felt more confident about leaving. So things have changed some, and but I'm not sure the needs have changed a great deal. No,
and well, I'll tell you, as far as addressing the needs of all veterans from the VA standpoint, what we're encouraged by is reopening eligibility for certain priority level veterans, and also we were encouraged by the administration's proposed increases in the VA budget, and it will allow more veterans to receive the type of care that they need. And it is encouraging. I want to tell a little story about my father, who served Vietnam era, but he was actually stationed over in Korea. When he came back, he had shoulder issues, and obviously it was service connected. And he was actually completely turned off from the VA for a number of years, and it was always the place that a place of last resort, almost, as if when you went to the VA hospital back then, they couldn't be bothered to help you, was basically the story he told. He decided to go back, and I want to say 1999. They had sent him a letter, almost a mea culpa. We've changed. Come home. Come back to the VA. And he actually went to the Providence VA Medical Center, and he's been going there ever since. Just the level of care among the staff has just improved dramatically, and they seem to actually be engaged with their veterans and the services they're delivering.
There has been a great change, I think, in attitude. I visit the Veterans Hospital where I worked, but also is in my district now, and I think I see a different attitude change. But they are having difficulty with getting professional staff, and we're trying to help with that some. It's not so much the salaries, because they have pretty good salaries, but the workload and hours they have to work. Quite different from the non-veterans hospital facilities, and so we're having to give attention to that and make sure that we can add to the quality of our veterans, and I hope you've seen some of that.
Absolutely, and again, we've been very encouraged by what we've seen over the last couple of years as far as increased funding for the VA, and actually one of the things we've fought for a while is advanced appropriations of the VA, and it seems every year the VA budget was delivered late, and last year it was delivered on time. and with a dramatic increase in funding.
Yes.
And so we're encouraged by what we've seen. But you're correct about the burden, and it's not just on the healthcare staff at these VA hospitals. One of the things that AMVETS does, we have our service officers who assist in VA claims. And I was speaking about the backlog a little earlier. What we found is the workload even on our service officers has been ridiculous. It's been incredibly strenuous. But last year they managed to recover about $410 million in benefits through new claims and appeals. But there's more work to be done, and there are going to be more veterans coming into the system.
And it's a great shortage of nurses right now and throughout, but the Veterans Hospital nurses really complain a lot about not having enough staff. I'm a nurse myself, so I keep in touch with them. Now, has the National Guard or the reservists found a difference, or are they then taken right in as veterans, or are they treated differently by the Veterans Administration?
Well, I'll tell you that there has been a significant improvement in the way Guard and Reserve members have been treated by the VA, and a lot of that has to do with their use during the current conflicts. Personally, as a member of the Reserve, when I came back, I was steered toward the VA almost immediately. And when I went there, they were more than helpful in processing my paperwork. I had an appointment within a week. And so what's difficult when you're talking about the Guard and Reserve is remote and rural veterans. Folks who don't live within commuting distance of a major VA facility or even a community center. And that's something that Congress and that your team has been looking to address for a while. And what's the answer to that? A number of people have suggested it's allowing more out-of-system care from the VA. If you have a healthcare facility for your remote or rural veteran, then allow them to go there, have the VA reimburse it for the types of healthcare that are authorized through the VA healthcare system. So that's something that we're looking to address in the coming year as well. How do we best serve the veterans that they've been serving in the National Guard forever? It's a point of pride for their hometown, but their hometown of 1,500 doesn't exactly warrant a major VA medical center.
Well, they're also building residences now on the premises of VA hospitals where families can be a little closer when the condition warrants that. And we opened one in Dallas, I guess, about a year or so ago, and it's a very nice facility. It had been very difficult for families to stay close to their loved ones when they had to drive 200 or 300 miles to get to a facility. And I think things have come for women veterans, because when I was a nurse, the women veterans had a difficult time in a male system for privacy. And now I think they have separate shower and bath facilities, which is a real improvement for women.
And that's something that I wanted to touch on as well. As far as our women veterans are concerned, we've seen such a drastic influx from this conflict. I mean, women veterans though they're still not allowed to serve on the front lines, I mean, you've clearly seen we've had two recipients of the Silver Star, women serving in well, I guess you would have to say traditional combat roles, and they're coming back. They're facing the same obstacles that male veterans face, but then there are also unique situations specific to female veterans. And the VA has definitely taken a proactive approach in that over the last couple of years in establishing women's health centers and things like that.
Thank you very much. We are out of time.
Oh, thank you.
This has been another edition of Report from Washington featuring Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. You can reach Congresswoman Johnson at 202-225-8885 or 214-922-8885. You can also contact her through her website at http://www.house.gov/ebjohnson.